Today, Leslie's interviewing Suzy Shepard, a kick butt granny who left a research job to become a travel writer and live in her B-van. Here it is. It's an Airstream Mercedes diesel Dodge Sprinter Thoreau's cabin on wheels.
Hi, Suzy and Leslie here. We're grannies on the grow. We're saying get off your butts. That's B-U-T, of course, and do what you love. Subscribe and be a granny fanny. Today, in episode 6, we meet kick butt granny Suzy Shepard, travel writer, in her Thoreau's cabin on wheels.
We're here today inside Suzy Shepard's B-van. It's an Airstream travel van, and it's her little Thoreau's cabin in the woods. And so, what do you love to do, Suzy?
Well, one of the things that I love to do now is that I like to travel all over the country to all the continental United States and write and give out articles and ideas to people about what I find on those trips.
So can you tell us, Suzy, what some of the limits or the buts were that prevented you from doing this?
Well, one of them is a stigma that a woman should not be traveling alone across the country. And the other one is I love to help people, I love to love people, and I wasn't sure how I could be helping people or doing good in the world just by traveling. It seemed very selfish.
So how did you get off these butts or these limits that were preventing you previous to this point to getting out on the road and traveling?
Well, I had a most amazing experience. I was teaching at a university in the graduate school. I had a counseling practice. I was sort of living the dream. And then I found out that Airstream has a B-van that I could grab, I could buy it, I could go on short trips in the summer between teaching. And I went up to Concord to visit my brother. And lo and behold, just a couple of miles from his house was the Louisa May Alcott home. And I noticed some note paper that they had there, and it was note paper of a Louisa May sitting at a desk and writing, and the lights went off. When I was a little girl, I used to write books and publish them around the house. You know, I would write a book, and then I would make sort of a binding on it, and then I would take it around and give it to my friends and family, and that was one of my dreams. And Louisa May Alcott was one of my idols at the time. So I got off my butt because I said, look at this woman who did so much good. She helped soldiers that were wounded. She wrote. She had the full life. And so I started to say, how can I stop doing that, teaching, and be able to afford to go off and be like Louisa May and have my own Thoreau's cabin, only mine had wheels. Mine has an engine, mine has propane and electric and solar panels that run everything, and a bathroom and a bed. How could I do that and be like Thoreau? And it worked. I did it.
Suzy, what would be the best day with a kick butt granny and a life part-time on the road?
Well, the very best day would be when I'm climbing a mountain, or when I'm out in nature meeting wonderful people. Last summer I was gone for 6 months. I got to be at Arches, Canyonland, Tetons. I got to go to Glacier National Park. I got to walk on a glacier. I got to stand there in July when it's 100 degrees in St. Louis. I was at Glacier National Park watching kids sit down on their bottoms and slide down over a cliff and down a hill, and they were on the snow.
Oh, that's fast. That's great.
Oh my goodness. And then I looked, everybody screamed and looked off, and there was a big grizzly bear right there.
So now, could you tell us what was maybe your least favorite time that you were traveling as a travel writer and how you got over that?
Yeah, honestly, I can instantly think of what the worst time, and it isn't the worst day or the worst time. It is the same thing happening over and over and over again. And it's when somebody comes up to me, and you can guess who that somebody might be, a stranger. And the stranger says, "What are you doing out on your own? Are you by yourself? Where's your husband?"
So can you tell us what you do to combat that thought? Because there are lots of women that want to be inspired, that want to get off their butts and travel, but what holds them back is the idea that they shouldn't or couldn't do it alone.
Absolutely. The first thing I've learned to do is don't take it personally. It's not about me. It's not about being alone and feeling sad, oh, I must not be good enough because I don't have someone with me to protect me. And it isn't about the fact that I'm stupid or crazy or I don't know how to do this. It's none of those things. I don't take it personally. It's a world thought. There's a world thought that certain groups of people are disenfranchised or not good enough. So the first thing I do is impersonalize that whole idea and say, okay, this is about someone asking a question. And what I do is I let my light shine. I think, who is Suzy Shepard? Who am I? So one of them is that I am strong, that I am able. And so what I do is I actually speak back to him from who I am. Not his perception of who I am, but who I am. I am a competent, kind, generous, able-bodied person. So the bottom line is I stay true to myself, and I make sure there's no stranger danger or anything. I just think of something fun and funny to say and decide that I probably need to move away from that conversation, and then I move on to have this full and rich and wonderful life as a traveling and as a writer.
What is it about this van that makes you inspired and makes it a writer's cabin?
I'll tell you, it's a lot easier than my office at home because everything is right here. Let's say that I want to write. I have a full set of pens. You can see I'm a super nerd. I have a solar powered light. I've got a flashlight if I want to write at night, my glasses, I have everything. And then there's a full bank of chargers under here where I can charge all of my peripheral technology. I have a printer under the desk. I can print things out. I have Wi-Fi. And oh, let's say I'm hungry. I simply reach over here, open the refrigerator, get my lunch. I go right here for a shower and for to go to the bathroom. And then right back here, I've got a full kitchen and a full kitchen sink. I mean, look, who wouldn't love a writer's cabin that has a full, right here, a full way of cooking.
And that's a microwave there, I see.
A microwave, oh yes. Look, for those obsessed, Ziploc bags, right? And then lots of places to put
and a big AC unit.
A big AC unit. And then I just plop down here, right? Everything's here.
With these big picture windows that are very inspirational,
well,
I can
this one,
see.
The door is open, so it's harder to see. But let me show you how this works. It's really cool. So I just can close this. And you can see I have this wonderful panoramic view of the campground, or if I'm boondocking, if I'm out in the mountains of the mountains. And it's truly an inspiring way to live. And I'm sure if Thoreau were alive today, he'd have a motorhome or a camper, and he'd go out and expand Walden Pond to the whole country.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of another Kick But Granny, showing us how grannies on the Grow live life. And thank you, Suzy Shepard, for giving us a tour of your writer's cabin and your unit that you travel around the country with. Are there any final thoughts you might want to share with people who might want to do this but still have some buts about it?
I would just say, get off your rocker and do what you love.
That's it from Grannies on the Grow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up, please, and hit that bell so you'll get notifications. We love sharing our news with you. Bye.